Oh boy. Let's take another look at a gloriously inaccurate David Carr take. I mean, it's bad. Talk about Andy Reid not speaking to rookies, tight end university in full swing, answer 5 serious wide receiver questions, and much freaking more. But first, how about those?
All I gotta say about that catch is how about them Chiefs?
What's up, guys? My name is Cole, aka the Red-Bearded Beast of the Kingdom, or sometimes simply known as Arrowhead Red. And I do daily news about the Chiefs and the NFL overall, so I'm gonna need you to sub if you're new, hit that like button if you'd like to wish my wife and I a happy 9-year wedding anniversary. We're celebrating it this weekend, so let's freaking go. And let's get into this video, starting out with some player news from their little social media channels that aren't little at all, actually, but whatever. Juju Smith-Schuster went on a Jurassic World tour, which is pretty dope if you ask me. I hope he saw a dinosaur, because they're real. Frank Clark is out on a beach trying to camouflage his head. I don't know why. MVS is back in some gym. Then his dog can be seen rolling around in a kiddie pool. And I believe Cornell Powell is getting married today. That's right. Homie is tying the knot and making it official on 6/24/22. So congratulations, bud. I found out that the Chiefs send one entire cheerleader to the Pro Bowl each year. So that's cool, I guess. Sky Moore is doing this little 18-inch box jump split thing with a band, and also is still rocking a compression sleeve on his right thigh. Justin Reid's on a boat somewhere in a land far away that looks incredible and incredibly expensive at the same time. Noah Gray plays more pickleball than any person I've ever seen. Juan Thornhill showed up to Liberty University to put in work, then put in said work, looked pretty good while doing it, and learned a lot during this session. Lonnie Johnson Jr. is eating apple cheesecake tacos, and it literally made my mouth water just looking at them. Insanity. I need this recipe, but not because I can cook. I'm gonna have to send it over to my wife so she can whip these bad boys up. Mahomes is out on a beautiful looking golf course, and I hope that is all right in the eyes of Kevin, referencing the homie from yesterday's video.
One of our guests is the great Kansas City Chiefs tight end, Travis Kelce. Unfortunately, he made the mistake of asking if we wanted to throw around the old pigskin. And that did not fly very well with Miss Piggy.
Yes, Travis, if you could work on not insulting Miss Piggy, that would be great and much appreciated to all of us in this very sensitive culture we live in nowadays, because she probably really was legitimately offended. And with Kelce in discussion, this is a fitting time to mention that tight end university is in full swing like a playground, and today is the last day, I believe. But you can see a lot going on here, from Travis Kelce screaming into the mic, players warming up, then walking around slowly on the field before working on some cute little footwork. Greg Olsen is giving them tips on how to be better in life. Kelce is teaching them how not to run routes. Darren Waller, the baller, is there working, doing his thing, and looking nice. And this is pretty cool. Bills QB Josh Allen himself could be seen out there throwing the ball to some of the guys, which is pretty freaking awesome if you ask me. And then you could see another QB out there, Jets quarterback Zach Wilson, which is less cool to me because he's, with the Jets. Anyway, that's still pretty cool. Then you could also see some players doing yoga, attending some film and or study sessions, and learning from Kittle, Greg Olsen, and Kelce. And we can't forget this event is sponsored by Charmin. So they got the Bears out there representing and all that stuff. And it looks like after some training and workouts, they went out and about and rode around on a pedal tavern, which is like a giant bike thing with beer. So you drink beer and you pedal, and this little guy right here steers around town. That's interesting. Never seen that before. And the last thing I want to touch on about tight end university is this. Greg Olsen looks a lot to me like Dexter. In fact, if anybody randomly goes missing from tight end university, Greg Olsen definitely did it. And then David Carr finds himself back in the news again. You know, Derek Carr's brother, also the guy who sat on a bench while Eli Manning won a Super Bowl ring for him. Yeah, that guy, he's back in the news again. Not for anything he says that makes sense, of course. Nah, more along the lines of, he's insanely biased to the Raiders because of his brother. I don't actually understand how this man has a job, if I'm going to be honest here. And here is another example as to why I have trouble understanding exactly that. Look at this graphic. Here's his top 5 tight ends list. look at it for a moment here and tell me what the heck is wrong with this list, because there's something majorly wrong. But listen to David speak for a moment here, even though it will hurt your little brains.
Top of the list here, little silver and black. Why is he above Kelce and Kittle?
Well, for obvious reasons. But then, honestly, it's because when you look at Rob, I was thinking about this list, and the first two guys epitomize what he was like on the field. So for me, Darren Waller had to be number one for obvious reasons, but because he also epitomizes what Gronk did so well, and that's just be versatile and do everything great.
Yeah, and people are going to complain perhaps about the obvious reasons, but as you said, if we're going to talk about tight ends.
Why, yes, we're going to complain for obvious reasons, because the reasons are just that. Obvious. Carr goes on to say that George Kittle and Darren Waller can block very well and also run routes and catch, which is why they're on the top of this list here. And something else that was interesting, even when he was talking about tight ends that can just catch very well, he did not even say Kelce's name. No, he literally did not mention the greatest tight end remaining in the NFL, that he somehow puts number 3 on this list because he plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. How can you let your bias bleed that badly that you won't even mention, you won't even utter on your lips the name of the greatest tight end in the NFL because he doesn't block as well as the others? Yes, his pass block and run blocking grades are a bit lower than these guys if you look at their PFF rankings, yes, but if we look at the big picture here at how a player is overall on offense, Travis Kelce is the king. There's no argument or debate here for this one factor alone, even though there are many in my opinion, but that factor is this: prolonged durability. Just look at his stats year in and year out. Look at them, David. Look at me in the eyeballs. Now turn your little head and look at the list. Look at his stats. Health and consistency plays a big role in being effective out on the football field. If Darren Waller is better than Kelce at blocking, but is injured half the season almost because he is brittle, is he really a better blocker or more effective if he's on the bench for 6 games? And that actually happened last season, by the way. So yeah, the obvious answer is N-O. I don't even understand how this man can wake up in the morning and look himself in the mirror with a genuine smile on his face. David Carr is bad at his job. Let's just be honest here. And it's a bit pathetic. Somebody here has got to let me know where to fill out an application for his job, because I've never even played in a legitimate game of football in my entire life, and I could do a better job presenting myself in a professional manner than David Carr does on television. I know I said recently that Skip needs a divine intervention, which he does, but I think David Carr might need one even more so, so please pray for that man. All right, recently on the I Am Athlete podcast, Deshaun Jackson and Shady McCoy, who himself has said some suspect things, to say the least, about Eric Bieniemy, they had a story that I want to share with you guys about Andy Reid when they were both on the Eagles, and I found it interesting to talk about it with y'all because apparently Andy Reid doesn't really speak to rookies.
My first year, I'm in the league. I don't know how that works. Andy Reid come over, and Andy Reid don't play no games. He's like, what's going on? I said, hey, coach, look, we got to put the Ferrari away till Sunday. I'm air hustling because at the time, Andy Reid don't talk to rookies. That's his rule. He don't talk to rookies.
Andy Reid don't talk to rookies.
Did he talk to you like a rookie?
Not really.
He ain't say much to me. I'm keep real.
Yeah,
you gotta earn it. So look, Andy Reid, he say
he love you to death though. Love his players.
Yep.
But you gotta earn it with him. But he just when you know.
He don't talk to rookies.
Like when he look at you, he give you that look.
Yeah, look.
To be clear here, if it was just Shady McCoy saying this, I wouldn't know what to believe, but Deshaun Jackson seemed to back it up and add some validity to this. He said, he didn't really talk to me as a rookie. Nah, you gotta earn it. Now, does that mean it's a literal rule? No. I'm sure he talks to rookies from time to time, but it certainly doesn't sound like it's the norm. Is that weird to you guys or not so much? Let me know your thoughts on that, because when I heard this, I was like, what? Very interesting to think about, especially during the offseason when things are slower than a tortoise as far as team news goes. And then I want to talk about an article from Matt Connor of Arrowhead Addict that I've been wanting to talk about for a few days now, but I haven't had the time. And that article is titled 5 Serious Questions at Wide Receiver. So let's look at them and chat about it. His first question is, can MVS handle a greater load? Pause. But basically, if you look at MVS's stats while with the Packers, he's never had more than 38 receptions, 690 yards, and 6 TDs in a season. Now, is that because Devontae Adams took most of the looks and attention? which he definitely did on paper if you look at the season stats every year? Or is there a potential deeper reason than that? Maybe Rodgers lacked trust in MVS when he was out on the field and looked to him less often than others when he really needed it. I'm not sure of that, but what I am sure of is this. Andy Reid himself said they see promise in him and plan on using him in other ways that Green Bay did not use him in. So what other ways could that be is the question. We will find out soon, but so far this offseason, MVS is looking like the best connect from Mahomes outside of Kelce, of course. So that in and of itself shows promise for MVS to potentially break out this season. Matt Connor's next question is, can Sky Moore make a quick impact? You know, as quick as the sky falling. Horrible joke. It's one thing for a receiver to look good in college, but another for that to translate out on the football field in the NFL. There's levels to this game, if you will. He has the potential, though, to make an impact, but can it be quick? Bad news is he's already lost some momentum this offseason with that hamstring injury, so that in and of itself is leading to a slower start than ideal for the rookie, but his potential upside is intriguing. He's great at beating defenders off the line and getting separation, and while he is smaller, at 5'10", literally 5 inches shorter than me, he has some big ol' mitts for hands and can certainly come down with the football more times than not when it matters, so I like the fact that we will see less drops this season in theory. The third question in this article is, can Juju Smith-Schuster return to form? We've looked at Juju in detail pretty recently, so to summarize, his first 2 years in the league were pretty incredible, but then Antonio Brown left and Big Ben started his rapid decline around the same time, so there are questions as to whether or not the decline was because of Juju unable to handle a bigger load with Brown gone, another pause, Big Ben's decline, or both. I lean more into blaming Big Ben. I mean, look at Juju's average yards per target in each of the last few seasons and how they've continued to dip. 2017, 11.5 yards per target. 2018, he saw 8.6, then 7.9 in 2019, 6.5 in 2020, and 4.6 in 2021. Yikes. That's a big ol' RIP to Big Ben's arm. I know Juju was injured most of last season, but he's only 25 years young and looks healthy and good to go this season. So my hope is yes, Juju will return to form, especially catching passes behind Travis Kelce. That's going to be good for him. And Juju himself is confident in himself. In fact, so confident that he signed with the Chiefs on a 1-year prove-it deal. So I believe Juju also thinks he has what it takes to go out there and prove himself to every person. Question number 4 on this article is, can Mecole Hardman thrive without Tyreek Hill? And I think the short answer here is yes. Moving on. Just kidding. Hardman will thrive with Tyreek gone because they are in theory going to utilize him in some of the ways they used Hill because of Mecole's speed, but also for this reason. I feel like they started truly figuring out some effective ways to get Hardman involved near the back half of last season and will continue that momentum with him into the 2022 season. Let's look at the Denver Broncos game last season, which I believe was the last regular season game. Hill only saw 3 targets and had 1 reception for 2 yards. What a game. Meanwhile, Mecole had 11 targets for 8 receptions and 103 yards. Mahomes definitely looked more to Mecole with Hill playing very limited snaps. So could that be a telltale sign for 2022? I think it very well could be, yes. Okay, the final question on this article is, can Justin Ross overcome his injuries? One would say that if the answer is yes, he's a starter next season in 2023 for sure, with absolutely no doubt, because I have this feeling that he's going to be stashed on IR this season, and they will work him slowly but surely here as the team progresses. But hey, according to Andy Reid, everyone should be good to go for training camp. So if we see Justin Ross out there, that'll be a good sign about his health, though I feel the momentum is not going his way currently due to whatever reason it was that he missed mandatory minicamp. And I don't think that reason was because he was expecting his wife to have a baby like Frank Clark. I think it was due to injury, even if it was a minor one. All right, so what are your guys' thoughts on this, all these serious wide receiver questions? Do you agree with these being the right questions to ask right now as being the most serious for the wide receiver core? I think the first 4 questions for sure are pretty great ones that need to be answered because they are all about the 4 perceived wide receiver locks in 2022. So definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts as we bicker about it together in the comment section. Shortly after posting this video, today, my wife and I are leaving for the weekend to celebrate our wedding anniversary, so I may drop a Q&A video tomorrow and possibly a bonus video on Sunday, but my regular daily videos like this will resume on Monday. So I hope you guys have an incredible weekend and enjoy the heck out of yourselves, your friends, your family, all that good stuff. Make sure to leave a comment below to potentially be featured in an upcoming video. Sub for more daily news like this, and check out this video here, which is the first daily video that I did over 100 days ago, and take a look at the difference between then and now. It's kind of mind-blowing, if I'm gonna be honest. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those